Thanks for joining me. We're going to be just exploring some of these together. These are ones that I haven't looked at yet. You can see the carvings in the shadows. That's why we're doing it at this time of day. It's right around sundown. And this helps to see the carvings that are in these pieces of white crystal. Can make out that this is a headdress, probably a bird head, and a person in here somewhere. And we're going to be able to move just a little bit so we can, there we go. So what we're seeing here, if you look closely, right here, of course, is the eye with the little spots there. And I'm not sure, maybe a lady with the hair, but it's also a big, more than likely a bird head on the top. It's a really interesting stone. There's a lot on it. Let's go ahead and take a look at some more things. Sometimes it might be easier to flip it upside down. The markings on here all mean something. All this is paint. The whole stone is painted. Even this section is painted. This is what it looks like when it's chipped. It is a white piece of quartz. Sorry, I have my hand in the way of the statue. I can't be covering this up because this represents the hair of this particular statue here. Kind of get rid of this maybe, I'm not exactly sure. Some of the images are cartoony shaped. Some of them are more photorealistic. Most of the time, the big outside image is very cartoony shaped. And then as you get into the details, you'll see that it's a more of, a real portrait, a lifelike portrait. This is cute, just a small little bird on the top of this woman. So this is the portrait of a woman, believe it or not. This is archaic or very old, so this is a representation of a person, maybe a bear person, who knows. But what's nice, I see on her hair, her bun that she has right there, could be looked at as a flower, but it's also a small bird, and you can see the beak carved into there for that bird. Just a little tiny bird on the head, which is common in just about every single one of these statues. We have the bird on the head. So these are the people of the bird, or at least this place was very bird oriented. But I'm seeing a lot of this stuff in North Carolina. It's literally all over the state. Maybe not on the far east coast, because that was once beach, but I'm seeing a large carving, and in the shadows there, it's helping me to see the large eye right here. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next piece, but I think this one's a very, very nice one. This is one of the ones that we picked out on site. It's a very shiny, polished piece. Represents bird heads. Looks like a bird head to the right, with this yellow spot being the eye. We went over this one a little bit on site. I'm going to do a better job of not covering up the stone. There's bird heads on the left and the right, and you can see the holes that are put into there, and then we talked about the inclusions and things that are put inside of these. For just this side right here, it is the person with the hat. Of course, there's a left and a right side. Let's go and look at the right first. Of course, you can see his open mouth there. There's different portraits though, so you may be seeing the eye as being right here. And then, of course, there's a third eye on the top here, like always. Can you guys see in 3D like this? This is a portrait of a person with a headdress on. Let's go ahead and look at the left side guy. Just has a hat. Always the hat will turn into a bird somehow. I believe I see a bird just going over this way, which would make the bird hat for this person on the right side portrait. So yeah, so you can see the eye, the nose, and the open mouth there. And then the yellow beak, the carving for the eye. He might have a snake on his head, I'm not sure. It's hard to say exactly what that is. This one definitely has some very beautiful portraits on it. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next one since we did go over this one quite a bit already on site. You're seeing all these birds here. This is a bird with its wing down and its beak and its eye right there. Maybe its other wing is right here. If you look closely where the eye for this bird would be, which is right there. In the sun, you'll be able to see the paint and the symbol that's on this bird head. This is one of my favorite pieces. It's pretty defined, sorry about that, with the large eye on the headdress here. There's one just right here, as you can see, and you see how the pupil is offset to the side here? That is because you look at the art as if you're looking over the shoulder, so whenever that eye, see how whenever you tilt it, see how it becomes more symmetrical. So when you're looking at it like this, it looks like it's over to the side and it doesn't look correct. But when you look at it over to the edge here, you can see how it does indeed become more symmetrical there for an eye. So what we have here is a person with a large eye. There's a couple different eyes, but there's a large eye on the headdress here. And his portrait's in here. And when we tilt that, that portrait can come out in different ways. Several things on this, bird heads and images of humans. You can see inside these holes the way that the carvings are done for the inside of them. You'll notice all these petroglyphs, there's diamond shapes that have eyes in the middle of them. And you'll see these smooth sections, see these black markings all over the stone. Could represent a bird, perhaps. Lots of polish and things on this. You may be seeing eyes down at the bottom. That's, of course, when we flip it. But we can go ahead and look at this left side portrait here. Actually, that's a very large headdress. I'm going to zoom out just a hair so you can see the headdress. And we'll go ahead and see if we can get that portrait just perfect. I think that's just about it right there. Maybe like that. You can have yelling mouth as well. But you see this tall headdress here. It might look better like that for you, where you can't really see his eye too much. You just see the pupil of it sticking out right here and the lines coming down. Of course, his nose and his mouth. And this is his cheekbone over here. This is also some type of rhinoceros head. It's also a squirrel girl archetype. Possibly a dog head or a bear head or something too, with left side portraits here. A lot of different things going on with it. It's hard to interpret. I'm really good with the birds and the people and with their headdresses and what they have on their headdresses and things. This will be the portrait facing to the right of the woman with the long hair somehow, some way. And that's getting close to it. But that's the way these work with the long hair. You guys have seen this several times on my channel, where you can pull the face back out. All right, guys, let's go ahead and maybe just check out one more before we go. This is one that has got one good side and one kind of rough side. So this is actually a giant bird head. Let's see which way it works best. He's like this, yes. So his big carving for his eye here, and his beak, of course, and his large crest. Just a big old bird head, you can see that. And for the left side, it is a person with a mohawk. If you look closely, you can see the red paint still remaining on this artifact with the lines for the eye and things in it. As I've said, this artifact has been damaged just a little bit, and so I'm going to show you that now on the other side. You can start to see some of it here. And so what has happened with this is the paint has come off because it's been sitting in the river. This part was down in the clay still, and this other part had been exposed. I believe we have a bird on this side somehow, some way, but what I really want to show you today is this, to show you how these are white pieces of quartz. These pieces that we've been looking at, such as this, they are this same stone. And this color underneath here is the actual color of these. And so you can see these portraits here on the left-hand side, portrait profile there with the big old nose, and go ahead and tilt him around a little bit. He'll have different ones. You see his lips poking out there. There's one on the right side as well. There's several on this, of course, as we flip it. These are like photo albums. This one's actually a really neat one. Unfortunately, like I said, since the paint is gone, it's a lot harder to see. But there's a bird on the top of this as well. It's just like the other ones. Unfortunately, it is fading away. So, hope you guys are seeing this giant eye, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye-bye.